Welcome back. Let's keep going with some more string methods. Now we've learned about adding and removing ones. We learned about append, insert, and extend. And then in removing, we learned about pop, remove, and clear. There's a few other important ones. Let's go with the index. So instead of clearing here, let's clean this up. And we'll do basket dot index. And index, as you can see, we give it a value, a start, and a stop. What does that mean? Well, we want to say, hey, what index is number 2? If we do index of 2 and I click run, it's going to give me 1. I know this is a little confusing, but it's asking for the index. Where is number 2? Number 2 is at index of 1. Let's change these into letters just so it's more clear. So we have A, B, C, D, and then finally E. And again, if I do D here and I click run, I get an index of 3 because 0, 1, 2, 3. It's on shelf 3 in our memory. And you can also do a optional parameter here, which is where should we start looking? So I want you to start looking at index of 0 and then finish looking at index of 2. If I do run here, I get an error. It says, hey, D is not in list because, well, we started at index of 0 and stopped at index of 2. If I do 3 and I click run, no, it stops right before 3. So if I do 4 and I click run, there you go. I get 3. Now, errors are not good in our programs. Ideally, we don't want to get errors. So how can we avoid this? What if we're looking for something and we're not sure if it's in the list or not? There's another nifty way of looking for things in a list. And this involves what we call a Python keyword. A keyword is something that you use in Python that, well, already has some meaning. For example, a keyword here, if I go to Python keywords, are all these words that already mean something. Now, we're going to go through them, and we haven't seen a lot of them yet. But we might have seen true, right? In Boolean values, true means something. So in Python, we can't really use the word true because, well, it already means something. There's a word called in that, as you can see, as soon as we type, means something, is a keyword in Python. And this is quite nice. We can say, hey, is D in basket? And if I run this, I get true. Okay, is X in basket? I get false. Because, well, it doesn't exist. And this is actually quite useful, and we can even do it for strings. For example, if I'm looking for, let's say, the letter I in a word, and let's say it's I in, hi, my name is Ian. If I click run, I get true because the letter I does exist in this string. All right, let's learn another one. Another one is basket.count. And we can count how many times an item occurs. So for example, if I do D and I click run, I get 1 because D only exists once in the list. But if I add another D in here and I click run, we get 2. It counts how many times this value occurs in our list. Very, very useful. All right, a few more still to go. Let's do some exercises and I'll see you in the next one. All right, it feels like it's never going to end. We have so many methods with lists, but like I said, lists have a lot of methods because you can do a lot with them. It seems like a lot right now, but trust me, these are going to become second nature. So hang in there. I have a few more to show you. The next one is called sort. Guess what sort is going to do? If I click run, I get none. But remember, sort sorts the list, as you can imagine, in place. That means it modifies the list. So if I remove this up to here and then do sort or do basket, and I click run, look at that. I get a sorted list where D was moved in front of E. If I add, let's say, X at the beginning here, and I click run, it's going to move the X all the way to the end. It's going to sort the list in place for me. Again, if I hover over, it sees that it's going to not return anything, which is why our print initially didn't work. We had to print our basket, not whatever this produces, which doesn't produce anything. But what about this one? If we go to built-in functions, I have something called sorted. And if I do sorted, and because it's a function, not a method, I can do sorted dot or basket. So around the brackets, just like print. If I run this, all right, nothing has changed, but what if I remove this and put it in here? If I click run, I get A, B, C, D, D, E, X. What if I comment this out? So that we're not sorting it anymore. We just have the basket and then we run this sorted function. If I run, did you see that? Sorted, I know it's confusing. Why do they even have two? But sorted produces a new array. So if I do print basket here, and I click run, the basket hasn't been modified. The basket still remains the same. It's this one over here that's not sorted. Sorted, on the other hand, doesn't modify the basket in place. Instead, it creates a new copy of the basket and sorts it. It's almost as if we're doing this. We're saying new basket equals basket, and then we're going to copy that basket. Remember, list slicing. And then we're performing new basket dot sort on this new list. So that if I do new basket and I click run, we get the same thing. So you have to be careful of certain actions that perform an action in place or create a completely new list to begin with. By the way, there's also, instead of this, a dot copy method that we can use. And if I run this, again, we get the same thing. Copy, just as the name suggests, copy the list for us and returns for us a new list. All right, one last one, and that is basket dot reverse. What do you think this does based on the name? Well, if I check out the basket here and click run, is that what you expected? It reverses the basket in place. But notice that it's not like sort. It's not sorting. It's simply switching all the indexes into opposite sides. So D is now index of 0, E is now index of 1, index of 2, 3, so on and so forth. So you can see here that it doesn't actually sort it. Instead, what we might want to do is sort first, then reverse, and if we click run, we have a sorted, reversed basket. This is a little tricky one that some interviewers might ask. All right, good job getting this far. We're almost done with lists. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.